exciting trip. You know, we've made it to Memphis. All our players have made it up here. We're excited about it. We've been practicing. They've had good practices. The weather's been absolutely great. You know, got a little cool today. We expect a little bit of a change of weather tomorrow, possibly, and get more towards game time. We understand it'll get a little bit cooler as it goes along. We got everybody healthy. You know, we look good in practice. We're running around well, but again, we've had like 2 weeks to work on our game plan, a lot more than we've had in the past. So it's been really nice to have that ability to get those plays repped and all against the different looks that Rice presents. Rice is a very good defense. I'll speak to you defensively about them. They're very sound. You know, everything fits for them. And what I mean by that, their scheme, they have their scheme. They're a 4-down scheme, and in a 3rd down, they're an odd scheme. But what they do is they fit and match their coverages, both the 4-down and 3-down. So it's not an extravaganza of different things. You know, as an offensive coordinator, when you get that extravaganza, you can exploit a lot of areas because things, you know, they're not real familiar, but they understand what they want to do and how to do it, and they're very good at it.
Questions?
What do you do with what are you trying to do with the young guys? I know a lot of them may not get to play in the game, but what are you trying to do during practices with them?
Well, again, you know, we had some days prior to coming to the bowl site, and we worked them. We actually had a scrimmage, and we brought them into the stadium and scrimmaged them and got a great look at our younger kids. For myself, I had a young quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald, that actually signed with us and was able to practice. So he finished his high school career in the state playoffs in Georgia, and then about 3 weeks later, he was at Mississippi State attempting to run some plays. And what I mean by attempting, he didn't have any idea, and he'd never been in a meeting, came in and did an excellent job. But it gave us a chance for him to understand what we expected out of him and all the stuff he needs to learn, and it gave him just a little bit of a head start before he came in and practiced. And I think it's a great advantage for any team that's going to a bowl.
How much have you seen Damien's confidence grow over the last month now that he actually got some meaningful playing time and just everything that was thrown on his shoulders?
He's really remarkable. I'm going to say this. I've been around a lot of quarterbacks, you know, coming up. As a true freshman, to do the things that he's done, I've been very impressed with him, mentally and physically. He's very mature, so he takes things, you know, in stride and understands how important it is. I think the big transition for him is when he came in as a freshman, we were really, really hard on him. I mean, we demanded things out of him, and he said, "Who in the world, Coach Koenning? Wow, what's going on?" But we knew that we had to have him to finish this season, and we knew that he needed to step up for us, and he's done that. I still think he can improve some more. He can really spin the football. He can run the football too. So it's been a great advantage for him. And it was really funny. We were all sitting around eating all the quarterbacks, and he said, "Coach Koenning, you know, when I first came here, I couldn't understand why you were always on me, but now I can, because the game slows down when I get in the game." And when you've done that as a teacher, it helps you. When a kid can come down and say, "Man, it's so much easier to play than it is to practice," then you know you're on the right direction.
Les, what do the corners do that makes them so difficult?
They're really good. You know, both of their corners, when we watch them on film, they'll match them up man-to-man in a lot of their coverages. You know what I'm saying? And so those guys are really, when you turn on the film, you notice those guys right off the bat. So they try to eliminate your 2 outside receivers right off the bat by playing them man-to-man. You know, they've got some coverages where, you know, they'll like to double Javion. We work some of those things in practice and stuff like that in their long yardage situations. But in regular down and distances, you'll see them match them up so their safeties can be a little bit more active inside for them.
What does it allow, since they go man-to-man on the outside, the front 7 or be able to do, since they don't really need help, maybe drop it back in zone? So.
Well, again, they'll triangle our inside receivers. You know, they'll play outside in on those guys. They'll use that advantage with the corners playing man-to-man to help their linebackers a little bit in coverage.
What do you kind of remember about your time at Rice?
Yeah, it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I'm from Houston. You know, my dad was a coach here and went to high school there, so it was really, you know, it was partial to me. My dad actually coached at Rice also, so we're very familiar with the program. You know, a lot of good people. You know, going there academically, it's a very, very, very strong school academically. It's located in a beautiful part of Houston. It's a neat place. It really is.
Do you have a memory that stands out?
Well, we were in the Southwest Conference when I was back in those days, and one of the games that sticks out in my mind, we played Baylor. They were number 10 in the country, and we went in and beat them in Waco. Coach Goldsmith was the head coach, and it was just an exciting trip back from Waco. There's not a lot of things between Waco and Houston, but that trip was pretty exciting, coming back from that victory. But there's been some great memories. Again, as you go along as a coach, you have the opportunity to be around really, really great players and guys that went on and become successful not only in football, but off the field. And I can tell you numerous people that I've coached over at Rice that are doing tremendously financially just because of their education and their background. They've done a nice job. And those guys are always close with me. Lewis Ballady is one guy I can tell you right now. He's up in Dallas. And Lewis called me and said, "Hey, Coach, I'll see you at the bowl game." I said, "You better get your doggone right and we'll see you." Because, we're very competitive. Coaches and players are all competitive. And, a lot of the guys on the Rice staff are friends of mine also. So I know a lot of those, Ronnie Van Clark and all those guys. Coach Bailiff and I have been close for a long time too. Coach Bailiff used to have a river rafting business in San Marcos, and I used to call him up to see if he could get me a deal to get on the river. True story. So I know Bailiff, "Hey, Bailiff, what's going on?" I said, "Can you get us on the river?" "Yeah, come on." That was back in our younger days. But it's very familiar with a lot of the people there, and they've done an outstanding job. I know what they go through at Rice to win 10 victory, to win 10 games there is very, very good for them. They've done a really, really nice job.
Do you have any memories of, like you said, your dad was going and talking with your dad at Rice and how he...
Yeah, it was really weird. My dad was coaching at Rice, and I was playing at the University of Texas, so I actually got to play against him when he was coaching at Rice. We beat him, by the way. I shouldn't say it. But it was, there's a lot of funny moments that you go through, and probably the funniest moment that I remember at Rice, we were all there watching a football game, and it was a high school playoff game. And if you've been to Rice, it's really located in a really nice part of town, but what had happened, the stadium was actually, a lot of people were there, and there were some plywood boards that were in the back behind the concession stand, and the band was playing, it was halftime, I can still recall it, it was playing, and the plywood boards went down, and went pop, 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 pop. Well, all the people in the stands saw the shooting had occurred, and they ran from the stands on the field, and the band was marching, so it didn't turn out real pretty. We really laughed. We thought that was pretty funny. Those were some of the, just funny things that happened when you're around there. But it was the mob. I don't know if you know about the mob at Rice. They're hilarious. They're out of Alabama. Yeah, the band and right, they're at it. Oh God, they'll ridicule anybody, anytime, anyway. I mean, they're pretty hilarious. We've never seen them, but we hear about it a lot of times.
They're very similar to Stanford.
They really are. Yeah.